I finally accumulated 40 hours of vacation time from my employer, and I figured it's time for a well-deserved vacation. So thank you, massa. Because I was born into a poorer tax bracket and I have yet to offer a good or service to really entice capitalism, I only vacation in America. But I figured if I picked up enough slack at work, I figured I could afford one of the poorer countries or regions abroad. I don't think that's too far out of reach. And because I'm an American, I figured I'm going to have my cake and eat it too, even off the soil of the greatest country in the world. I'm not only going to rejuvenate my soul, but I am going to begin my life. I'm finding my future wife.
Just a lot to make it through the day, but I burn my time and watch it fade away. The sky turns up, the light just goes opaque. A garden grows in time and not the other.
Welcome to episode 14 of Afternoon Glory. How about those 52 voiceovers I used for episode 13? What can I say? My surrealism was coming out. My absurdity. It's not the word I'm thinking of. What's my off? Is a specific kind of comedy I'm trying to think. I can't subgenre. I can't think of it. I played it back. I was okay with one voiceover here, one voiceover there. I don't know if I was okay with 52. If that went another 30 minutes, I was on track to be 104 voiceovers. That's a call I might have not have been able to answer, and if I did, I don't think I would have had you hooked. 52 voiceovers in episode 13. Critics are calling this show a well-oiled machine. I feel like that is the case a lot of times where critics say something and we're like, especially now in this day and age, they're like, who the fuck are you? I would like to see Siskel and Egbert. Did I say they're Siskel and Ebert? Siskel and Ebert? Is that what their names are? I would like to see them, review films, see where their comment section says and makes them feel about themselves. Remember this, guys. It is always a privilege to hate. Never forget it. At the time of this recording, I put out episode 13, literally 3 hours ago, after a 3-month break from episode 12, and I'm already recording episode 14. If that isn't manic highs and depressive lows, I don't know what is. Truly remarkable. I am just getting over being sick. I'm happy to go straight into podcasting for an audience of 31. And that's if all 31 subscribers of the channel give me the time of day. It's not always the case. I'm subscribed to multiple YouTube channels. I don't fucking watch any of the videos. I think the burning question everyone wants to know from episode 13, did Mac's air mattress get delivered in time? Yes, it sat longer in my building's lobby than it took to get here. That's amazing. At 10 a.m., I'm editing and putting a screenshot of an Amazon order in post of episode 13. And then by 2, if the fucking order's here. You got to give it up. Technology and, Amazon, really. It used to take 2 weeks to get an air mattress off of Amazon. And now it's here in 4 hours. I have a haircut tomorrow. I don't know why I didn't wait to record. I feel like I never wait to record while I have a haircut. I feel like it's so far and few in between. Never looking sharp. I'm just always wearing a White Sox hat, which makes me, honestly, doesn't make me feel good. I've been sick 2 times in the last 2 months. I don't like how weak the COVID vaccines made me. I'm definitely on board with the conservatives on that one. I didn't know what they were putting in my body. I thought it was going to make me stronger because historically vaccines do this thing where they immune and give you immunization. Not sure if I didn't botch that word. Fucking head's pounding and my body still has weird parts of the day just feel fucking hot, like I'm living in a pool of sweat, like I'm wearing a suit. I don't like being sick, especially 2 times in 2 months. And for the first time I was kind of just sick on my own. I mean, I've been sick on my own before, but I've definitely been used to being spoiled and nurtured. Now that Oh shit, I was supposed to film the beginning of this. That's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to film the hook of this video that you've already seen. I was supposed to do it now. Or I was supposed to do it at the beginning, so it wouldn't be a situation where I have to pull from the back, or by the end of the whole entire recording, the middle of it. So I guess I'm gonna do that now. Yeah, but anyways, I got that out of the way. COVID, sick, not good, not good. I'm pretty sure I was sick with actual COVID too. And I've gotten COVID a few times since the vaccine. I'm not here to debate that logic. I don't give a shit. I think it's at least humorous. I'm not gonna use it as ammunition in a argument about why the vaccine faulty could be dumb. I honestly hope it fucking does slow me down. I'd be dead. I'd be indifferent about it. Anyways, moving forward. I saw a guy on a work Zoom on the train inbound to where most people work in Chicago physically. I was just talking about it's a privilege to hate. Might be a privilege to ride public transportation and peak travel time to work and be on a Zoom call, presumably where I feel like you work from home. Some days at least. That's insane to me. What business do you have to be attending to while you're supposed to be working virtually conducting business? I don't know. That is and maybe it's because I'm just a piss poor peon who doesn't have a degree and will never be able to work from home. That isn't a scam or a surviving wage. I was just perplexed, and you know how I knew he was on a work Zoom on the public transportation and peak hours while most people are crowding the train on their way to work physically in person is no headphones. That is a pet peeve. I never put this energy and this disgust into somebody blaring music. That's just what they. As a matter of fact, some people get. I don't know what wires I have crossed here where that doesn't bug me. Not physically. I watch people on the train just emotionally distraught over it or change carts. Sure, it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. The individual playing music, blaring music, I should say. They just want attention. And anyone complaining, I always say, you know what? I've come around to this song. I actually kind of like it. There was a guy playing the same song. It could have been his own song. I don't know. He just kept playing it. And before he got off the train, he restarted the song, and that's gotta be a great feeling. I'll never personally indulge, even though I did just listen to an old track of mine, the Lil Young Poe freestyle.
I'm Little Poe, tatted neck down. You already know I run this goddamn town. I see you on the flip side. I'm gonna kill you on the fucking rip tide. Please hold your questions, comments, and concerns. I'm plotting like my name was Mr. Burns, Homer's boss. I'm about to drink a water and it ain't Voss. I already fucked around and did some petty jail time. Y'all can go ahead and y'all can bail this time. Shut the fuck up, bitches, cause money does talk. And y'all lacking on your fucking pimp walk. I think I'm gonna run it back a couple 16s. Y'all gonna miss me. Lil Poe.
Brad Taste, I don't know if you know him. He didn't like it. He hated it.
Not a single word of that was written down. That was truly a freestyle. Which is the most impressive thing about the song. I mean, you wouldn't have known from just listening to it that nothing was written down. Redhead. Yeah, you're a poster for that. You are the only person today to get a red headphones because I'm dying to give something.
Still holds up. But anyways, but it's the people that don't mean to be doing this. That's when it really gets under my skin. And it's like, you don't have headphones. That's like a, phone, wallet, keys, headphones. That's like in the checklist of leaving. Well, then there's some people where I feel like they, in the same mind of blaring music, they're just on a speaker phone call, a FaceTime, and they want to be seen and heard. I honestly, knife to the throat. Nobody's looking. The very last train cart. Too bad I don't carry a knife. No, it's the blaring. I don't have a problem with that. But and so that's a whole thing on its own. But to be on a work call, that really, I'm just insane. Are people who work at home that bored? Where I don't think this is the case. I think maybe I caught a random outlier. Maybe he had to attend an appointment or fucking court hearing, or I don't know. And I just happened to catch him on that one day. But are people just bored working from home? That's what we wanted. That's what we said finally when COVID was really heating up. And now 4 years later, you're losing your mind to where you got to ride. Yeah, I'm also confused why, unless if business at home is starting to, if the day starts earlier. I'm confused why they were doing their first meeting of the day when the traditional workday hadn't even started yet. The thing we should all be caring about is former President Trump was working the drive-through at a McDonald's. That's news. That's news, guys. We have too many second chance employers in this great nation of ours, where everything from drive-through to president, that's second chance. You get to work them. So felons, if you're lucky enough to get out on parole, you have this country at your fingertips. It's truly amazing. Unless you're a person of color, then I imagine parole keeps getting denied. No. Well, probably. Not always, let's hope. Donald Trump working the drive-thru. I would really like to hear him say, "Oh, sorry, our ice cream machine is broken." Very wonderful ice cream, though. And the machine, well, it keeps contractors coming back. That machine creates a lot of jobs in the private sector. I don't even know what the fuck a private sector is. I'm saying it like one word, private sector. Private sector. Whether you like him or not, there is no denying that Donald Trump is on the back end of his third act. 78 years old. So far away from 80, as he recently said. I'm paraphrasing. But this is how he spends it. Just getting clicks, working a McDonald's drive-through that they probably only let 10 cars through, and it was probably all staged. And I say for clicks like that's a bad thing, but no, that's what the election polling has come to. I saw a headline where it says Kamala Harris is beating Trump and TikTok clicks. That's insane. And I also don't get Democrats. Maybe I do, but Donald Trump, China and TikTok. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. I hear a couple of Republicans here and there bad mouthing it, and he's on it. Nobody in their right mind would want to spend the back half, so literally the last sixth of your life being president. Nobody in their right mind would want to do that. They'd be like, "Are you insane?" Nobody other than Joe Biden and Donald Trump, which the polarization there, it's insane, because he's got to be facing his mortality. There's no question about it. New York Liberty won the WNBA Finals. I feel like I'm the first to break news on that. The Women's National Basketball Association is just absolutely underwhelming and uncovered that my sportsbook app didn't even notify me mentioning that my bet hit when I put it all on the Liberty winning it. Nobody really is breaking that. They saw Kobe Bryant in the orange sweater. It peaked and it fell the fuck off. It was like a Dogecoin. But congrats to the Liberty. Not even Caitlin Clark can take that away from you. At this season, I don't know at what point the fever went out, but I'm sure degenerate gambler David Portnoy had some words about it, and that's how it was. Barstool Sports, they're on thin ice. I tweeted Big Cat 10 times, maybe 9, to give me the time of day. The man didn't. That's their loss. I'm officially competition. There's no chance I'm selling out and bringing afternoon glory to Barstool Sports. Absolutely zero chance. They're not dead to me, but could have been something great. They chose not to take somebody who has a bad followers to following ratio. Virtually no interaction. You know, the ugly duckling is I don't know the tale. I'm coming for you, Barstool. I'm even gonna have my own afternoon glory sports book where it's just Miami sports. You can't bet against them at all. I'm sure that'll make waves in the sportsbook community. All right, let's read some news, I guess, if that's what we want to call it. Jelly Roll quits X as he declares it is the most toxic negative app to ever exist. Just to be clear, he's talking about X. I don't think he means 2012 Twitter. 2012 to 2016 Twitter. That was my favorite. That's like SNL. Twitter was best when SNL was best when I was a fucking young adolescent thinking I had the world figured out. That's when Twitter and SNL was the best. You know, Jelly Roll literally looks like this is just the worst picture to use, saying he declares that it's the most toxic negative app to ever exist. That just, you mean Jelly Roll said that? Oh my god. This is gonna cause a seismic shift and that X usage Elon's always tweet. I don't even know if he's tweeting about that anymore. That used to be like a thing when he bought it. X usership is at an all-time high, and now it's just something how he wants Kamala Harris dead, but he says he's joking. But he's probably not, and he's at a church, which Elon Musk and church, that confuses me on its own right. But I don't know Jelly Roll's story. I know he was in prison. I'm a little confused. I know he has had some, I presume, addiction hardships, and I'm sorry for imposing my judgment onto Jelly Roll. And what I think I know, that's insane. Granted, I've been struggling with sobriety, but I've had more sober days this year than any other year since before I abused the old hooch. I feel like X is the happiest place on earth. I feel like X might be my new addiction at times. It certainly was for a while, being a reply guy. Which, by the way, I was on Twitter last night, or X, as Jelly Roll departs from it, and we're being formal and such. I was on X on my laptop last night. That was fun. But it's nice to make myself. Like, I have a computer in my room. It feels like I'm in high school. I wake up, I'm like, oh, what's the weather today? And I go, oh man, 69 degrees? I'm horny. No, I don't know. Jelly Roll, I think, in short, has bigger fish to fry. I'm guilty of it. I don't carry as much weight as a Jelly Roll or a celebrity, but I think that it shows how shallow some of these folk are, and they let replies get to them, comments get to them. Moving forward, Tom Holland to star in Christopher Nolan's latest film. Yes. No other comment. That one was really just for me. Funeral home in Poland apologizes after body falls from hearse into traffic. First 1939 and now this. That's strike two, Poland. Call me half full, but at least nobody with a pulse got injured. I don't know, unless if fucking one of the family members is behind the hearse and they see their beloved one come out, tuck and roll out of the, I don't know. I don't think, I didn't read it. I don't think anyone got hurt. And it's not absolutely the worst thing to apologize for. God forbid it was a wrongful death and somebody slipped a beloved one a Mickey and they got drugged to death and now they're being dragged to death through traffic. I don't think if this happened, I'll go with the worst example. If this happened, God forbid, I'm knocking on wood, if my sister, if my baby sister suddenly passed away, and I know my mom and I know she would not allow my sister, even if she wanted to, be cremated, and we had to take her in a hearse. Of course, it would be a smaller hearse, or maybe it'd be the same size hearse. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was in Poland. It was a child, and there's a lot more wiggle room in the back of a hearse when the casket's smaller. Braking, I'm sure it just, with that slack that's not filled by an adult casket, I'm sure the child just whipped right through the door. And yes, I'm moving a little bit away from making this about my sister and rather about some Polish child. And I feel a little bit better about it. But if that were to happen to me, and I was a child in my life that passed away, died too young, parading the body in a hearse, in a child casket, but in a full-sized hearse, I'd be like, yeah, shit. I mean, it does happen. It sucks that it happened with this child who's hopefully not my sister. And, there's no tire marks. I don't know at what point they ride in a hearse. I feel like that's after the open casket funeral and then to the burial site. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. That's how that's how it goes in my mind. I would expect the child, if there was a tire mark, child or not, let's move away from child. If there was a tire mark, we're on the way to put them in the ground. The open casket's done. It's like I work in a hotel. I'm a bell attendant taking luggage down. It's after the wedding. Oh, I don't care about the wedding dress. It can get wrinkled now. That's how it should be if a body falls out of a moving hearse and ends up with a squished head. Also, if more sickos money laundered and opened seemingly legit businesses like a crematory, this wouldn't be as big of an issue as it is. Poland doesn't have enough cremation facilities, and I feel like that's strange. I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's too close to home with, a Holocaust, and the Holocaust would have never happened if the Nazis didn't steam through Warsaw in 1939. That was the message I was giving. Moving forward, this is morbid. Oregon man found guilty after police say he held a woman hostage in a cinder block dungeon. You let them do any drug in the street, they're going to find a way to jerry-rig a makeshift dungeon. You have to keep both your drugs and hostages in an actual basement with actual foundation. Not the street. That's insane. I'm not surprised this man was caught. Dare I say, the hostage deserves to be found, especially when they are imprisoned and held against their own will, and just the openness that Portland is. But we got to keep it weird. Moving forward, Egypt declared malaria-free by World Health Organization. First the pyramids, and now malaria-free. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Egypt is hacking civilization time after time. And that's all I really have on that. Lastly, Taylor Swift performs in the rain for more than 3 hours in Miami. I can't imagine if that feels good. Sounds like it might be sticky. But I feel like now we're seeing the actual bang for buck and those insane Ticketmaster prices. That's actually a heartwarming news piece. Alrighty. 40 minutes in and raw recording. Hopefully I get that down. And it's finally time to get to the meat and potatoes of the episode. As I alluded to, we're going to find me a future wife. By the rules of society, the society that deems everything I just read as news, which was the best I could find without it being so political. But by the rules of society, I ought to be considering settling down as I'm quickly approaching 30 years old. I am going opposite Heath Ledger advice, but I live by myself in a world-renowned city here as I sit in the dark recording another amateur episode by myself. Not only do I feel obviously extremely lonely, but I feel like one lucky woman is missing sharing this riveting experience with me. And so I need your help. What website is the best to order a bride from? Are they all legit and it's just what your regional preference is? Or are there certain countries that are known to scam more than other countries? I'm just kidding. Although, as long as it's 100% consent and there's like no ulterior motives where, oh, I got my green card, see you later, Josh. Yeah, I would probably be content with ordering a wife. That doesn't sound too bad. It sounds easy, and dating's atrocious. I'm not on the dating apps, and fucks with your head a little bit, but it's also a waste of time. And then finally, when you do narrow down and zero in on a candidate, you have a good date with a flight attendant, and you don't think that you dropped the ball, and then somewhere along the road you're like, I think I dropped the ball. But it's okay. She had 5 Italian brothers escorting her throughout the date, so it's definitely probably not a me issue. It's probably her. But instead of ordering a wife or being on the dating apps, I'm just gonna share with you how shallow I truly am and confine my future wife into this checklist. I guess we can start. Mrs. Right, to me, blonde hair, blue eyes, no exceptions. Every abortion, I want to walk away knowing we gave up a child with some pretty pure blood. that would feel good. Definitely get me on Hitler's bad side, which I think that's good. I don't wake up every morning and say, if if old Uncle Adolf was still with us, how do I remain on his good side? I don't do that. Maybe I ought to try it for a day. But seriously speaking, although there is going to be a lot of gray area because I'm a powerless pansexual who only loses sleep at night, tossing and turning who or what might be out there that I haven't pictured myself with in an array of ways. So that certainly creates a lot of gray area. But let's start with some classic black and white absolute deal breakers. There's got to be a sense of humor, obviously. I'm not saying I'm good at by any means at cracking a cold one. Beer I am, but cracking a cold personality, that's hard. I've definitely warmed up to, I've won the warmth of people, but those are people I don't want to let in. So sense of humor is obviously, and you don't even got to get the jokes. You just got to know that I'm joking. I can't be allergic to cats. I'm going to have a cat for the rest of my life. Keta. So my days are numbered. And I do have a hypoallergenic cat, but you can't say that to someone who's never been around a hypoallergenic dog or cat. They're stubborn. I don't think I could do asexual. I could definitely do a minor sex life. I could, I'm not going to say I could be content, but I could learn to live with that. But completely asexual, that's definitely challenging. I have a lot of trauma that lives in this body. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke. Very straight edge as they come these days, as sober as a judge. So I have no other way to, for lack of a better term, escape. And so I put all those evil and sorrows into bed, unfortunately. Also, this is gonna unpopular opinion. I think a lot of Asians are off the board. That's just speaking historically. I'm still not sure. You know, obviously there's some hot Asian women out there. I don't know. I've never pictured happily ever after with a hot Asian or an ugly one. Maybe I don't know. We'll put an asterisk next to that. Politics at a minimum, sharing them. I mean, of course, you can have an opinion, and as a matter of fact, I would prefer your opinion differ from mine, and we can exchange them alone and not broadcast them. I'm just tired of dying on a hill for the same shit, and it casually becomes more offensive or more extreme and radical, and I don't care for that, honestly. I at the beginning when I became single this year, I was dating a chick, and she said I'm far left, and I was just in disbelief. Nobody who's far left calls themselves far left. The only time they're called far left is when somebody with a polarization is like, look at that far left whack job. Nobody calls them that, but maybe they're owning it. I don't know. Another deal breaker, I'm not a fan of the girl mullet. It's just a big irrational fear of mine. I'm aware of how silly that sounds. Shallow, but no body hair. It just never does it. I get enough on public transportation and a stroll through the park in the summer. But other than all that, guys, I think everything else I can learn to work with. For fuck's sakes, even a face tattoo, I think I could learn that dance, depending context maybe. But I'm open to it, you know? Maybe I'm not so sure date number 1, but date number 5, I could be like, the face tattoo's fucking eye-opener. And I guess starting with some basics, and again, a lot of gray area. I might contradict something down the road here, but it's because there's a lot of gray area when it comes with, you know, finding a partner, even a life partner such as my wife. But if we're starting with height, nothing above 5'7", unless you're Cameron Brink, but she's officially out of the picture, despite me confessing my love to her on Instagram and TikTok. So that's unfortunate. I'm not even rooting her on in her sophomore WNBA season. And honestly, 5'7" is kind of cutting it close. You might as well just be 5'6" and lower. Body type, you know, I've been with many petite ladies, and I've also been with many big is beautiful women who can't prove I actually slept with them. So a nice cross breeze of that would be very nice. Lack of a better term, curvy is absolutely fine. That's ideal. But I'm not opposed to curvy in the right places either. That's a little more shallow. Also, historically, I have been more of an ass guy. However, breasts as of late have been garnishing a bit of my attention, so that's interesting. I didn't think it because breasts can change really drastically over time. I feel like an ass can too, but it can also you can keep at it with an ass. Also, I going more outside of the clothes. I wouldn't mind an accent. But that comes with a few absolutely nots. The Boston accent's the most miserable accent I've ever heard. So I'm out. Shark Tank. I'm out on those morons. New York accent isn't a deal breaker, but it's pushing the line. And I feel like accents might depend on voice inflection. I feel like a deeper, huskier voice, which that's a deal breaker. Husky voice, as a matter of fact. So no voice inflection of the husky gauge. I'm pretty neutral with any other American accent or global accent. And I'm going to feed you some basic, predictable information, guys. I am a sucker for a British accent. Such a sucker where any American woman that fakes one, I just want to physically shake until a bone snaps or dislocates itself for belittling just such a masterful accent. But at the same time, it might just be this crush I have on Emily Blunt. And then Emily Blunt only. I've typed in British in porn searches, and I don't think I like that. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not opposed to having a tatted up wifey, though I'm very indifferent about tattoos. But I also don't get riled up when I see a tatted 7 out of 10. And if a guy ever says, I like that chick, and it's like, oh, she's pretty average looking, why do you like her? And it's like, the tattoos. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's shallow. Age is, that's an interesting one. That was a revelation that came this year. I think I want somebody older than me. I just don't want to get left behind by a woman who thinks she has yet to live the best years of her life. A nightlife priority is pretty low on my list. Not that I have anything against this. Just I'm sober now. The wife does not have to be sober. I don't have a problem with my wife drinking. I have a problem with me drinking. So I mean, unless if all signs point to her being a raging detrimental alcoholic, then maybe I might take issue with that. But maybe that'd be fun. That'd be a fun relapse bender where I'm like, I selfishly know she's falling apart, so I say, let's hop off the wagon for a month and just add fuel to the fire. But I don't get her help at all. I just use her as a crutch to lean on and be like, not like her. But also back to the age thing. I think I'm chasing down someone 35 plus. Now I'm 28 now, so that's what, 7 years older than me. But it's a sliding scale. When I'm 40, I'm sure I'm gonna scale it back down to a legal, but like there's probably grooming allegations. That's my decision. And we'll see what pieces of the puzzle I have figured out at 40, and if I'll Dane Cook my relationship in my 40s. Skin color, no issue at all. As a matter of fact, I don't know if, other than an Emily Blunt, who's happily spoken for, which I was told, somebody off the dating apps, when I was on them, said I kind of look like the guy. Again, that doesn't matter. Nobody leaves their husband for a less successful, less somewhat resemblance of the man they're married to. Nobody does that. I do want to say I have a judgment of eyebrows. I don't have a picture perfect set in my mind or an example I turn back to. I just know when I see them. That's probably where I'm on the same playing field and page with some women themselves. Is I can critique a bad eyebrow. I can also appreciate a really good eyebrow. But yeah, I don't have like a set. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of do, but I don't have a set golden standard. I just know when I see them. Recently I've become open about nose size. That's interesting. I'm still getting my feet wet, but bear with me, please. I don't mind a bigger nose. I really don't. And also, my future wife also is going to be the only surviving member of her family. That'll give my wallet some breathing room, especially around the holidays. And honestly, speaking of the holidays, I'd prefer a woman that doesn't even celebrate. I've been in hospitality long enough for and it's sad. It's sad to be this person where a holiday, I don't give a shit. Just my birthday, and even with this ego internalization, external cues, my birthday's pretty meaningless. And also, I'm sort of kidding about, well, with the holidays thing. If I do come back around to the holidays, oh, I'm gonna go big. I just have no financial means to go big on any of them. But if I do come around to it, I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna be a big celebrating guy. And even if she doesn't celebrate holidays, I'd hope she had an open mind to do it. And I'm sort of kidding about my future wife having no family. I don't know if that's ideal, but that's something that has meaning to me. But with that being said, if she does have a family, big sucker for a black sheep of the family. The more you've been edged out growing up, the better. I like that. I like that a lot. A prenup is certainly in the cards. This YouTube channel is more closer to 40 subscribers than it ever has been. And so, there's joking now, but if there's ever a time, prenup is, if I have reason to make it happen, it's going to happen. Just a few more. Phone etiquette is always nice. Splitting the bill is always nice. Wardrobe isn't something I'm too particular about, so dress how you want. We'll laugh about how my pants are tighter than your pants, and then the rest of our day, I imagine, will be really bleak. I will say this, I might need a bit of an extrovert, someone to remind me it's okay, and it's needed to be stepping out of your routine and every now and again. But an introvert isn't off the table either. In my eyes, the introvert I am is, yeah, I can hang with everybody else, but the longer I hang, the more time I need back to myself. In that case, we can just be the most habitual versions of ourselves. That's fine too. Maybe we don't grow as quickly as we'd like. I don't know. I could deal without a woman who feels sorry for herself. I think ideally, I want somebody who's like, yes, I fumbled whichever bag, but it just does harm reflecting on it, and so I'm gonna move forward from it. That's ideal. I'm myself trying to get better at that. I think I've been the best I've ever been at it this year, but I still have moments where I'm like, Josh, you fucking fuck up, you fucking piece of shit, you fucker. But I think most of it is covered. I can't think of anything else that's confined to a checklist that's important. I mean, because despite everything just said, I'm pretty open. Honestly, just don't have a cold personality, and I'll be able to trap you in a relationship with me. And if you're ever trapped in a relationship with me, I just gave you the hack: become cold. And I'll say, hey, toots, it's time to get to packing. Also, just some red flags that might not even be red flags to me. Taste in media and pop culture, I don't give a shit. If you look up to Kim Kardashian, there's no harm in that. Actual taste in food, if you just eat mac and cheese, that's fine. I don't care. I don't give a shit. But if you have this extensive palate, a little intimidating on my end. I kind of like mac and cheese, girl, but it doesn't rub me the wrong way. If someone is well traveled or not. I saw somebody say that there's somebody without a passport. That's a red flag. Sorry they don't have as much time as you. I've been to 25 countries and counting, and I hope to go to 3 more by the end of the fuck off. Clothes worn, I kind of already addressed that. Social media, I don't give a shit if you're on it or not. If you rent or if you pay mortgage, I don't give a shit. You probably give a shit about me doing that, but I don't give a shit about you doing that. I don't care about what car you drive. You can drive a tow truck with your elbow out the window and a cigarette hanging out of the left side of your mouth. That's that's certainly fine. Baggage without growth, or no, I think I want baggage with growth. Well, she was accused of killing her husband, but all the evidence is there. She didn't kill the guy. I don't care. She grew from it. Children 50-50 at this point in my life. I'm not the man to embrace that. But if it just so happened to be the love of my life falls in my lap, she's like, oh, by the way, I need you to dress up as Santa so I can get out of your lap and my old kiddo can get a picture and that can be a Christmas card. That if that happened, I would learn to adjust and learn how to navigate that if she truly was the love of my life. But certainly later down the road, when I hopefully got a couple more pieces figured out, I wouldn't steer clear from the possibility. But yeah, I think that nails it. That was fun. I feel good. I feel like I hope any woman watching this, the moment, there's probably like 5 girls that watch this, but ideally if it was like 100 chicks, and then the moment they heard their thing that they didn't have, they were like, it was like a ding, like they're out of here, or maybe it'd be a and they'd be out of here. And then it's just down to the final one. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't steer clear from the possibility. Da, 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 da. And then they're like, holy shit, I'm still watching. Comment that. I'm still watching. I'm still here. I didn't get dinged out. Pay you a lump sum of money and you'll be my bride. Wow, guys, I certainly didn't expect the current event stuff to take this long, because that was about, I didn't even expect the ideal scenario chick to be taking this long. So I think I'm gonna take my cue, and I think that nails it all. And I think I'm gonna pack for this much needed vacation, where I certainly hope I run into Mrs. Wright in downtown East Vancouver. No, I'm kidding. That'd be funny. Like I'm going abroad. Because I have been out of the country, but I don't count. I went to a resort in Playa del Carmen. Like that doesn't count. Uh, what? Oh, she's scratching. Alrighty. See you on 15, guys.
Then I think you should leave.